For as long as I can remember, it's been here. No one knows how it started or why it exists. Only that it happens in the middle of the night, under the cover of darkness. Certainly the government has a hand in it. There are stories of an outside world free of its power, but those are only rumors. It robs me of sleep, destroys my routine. Is it this Sunday? Is it next Sunday? Why always on Sunday? Don't they know what happens on Sundays? I can't escape it. After each event, my world is a mess. Is it day? Is it night? Why is the day so much longer? Is it a glitch in the Matrix? A collapse of the space-time continuum? The truth is being kept from the world.
Spoiler alert, it's not next Sunday. It was actually last night. So if we're all a little groggy this morning, it's because we lost an hour of sleep. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I love this time of year. I love spring. I love that in a couple of weeks we're going to see flowers next to leftover piles of snow, and it stays out later or later. I just love it. So.
I don't like spring. It's kind of like wet and gross, and then
there's so much new life, and you can smell it in the air. That smell in the air kind of thing, Jimmy, it is real, especially during spring. But anyways, good morning, everyone. How are you? Oh, that sounds good. My name is Sonia, and I am joined by Miss Justice. I am the coordinator of chaos, I like to say, over at Love Handles.
And I work at Love Handles.
Yes, she's my little minion over there. And we just want to welcome you into Forward Point, where we are a community of faith, hope, and love, helping people find their because we believe you were born on and we want to be part of that story any way we can.
If you're new here, there's a couple ways you can get connected with us. There's the Welcome Center in the lobby over there, a digital connection card. And if you haven't already gotten it already, Mama Skinner's famous banana bread in a welcome bag. It is so yummy. I 10 out of 10 recommend. And if you come back next week, maybe change your identity a little bit and get it again. We're on all forms of social media, Facebook, Instagram, X. You can find all our events listed on there. Then there's the Church Center app. The Church Center app is all those social media platforms added together, multiplied by the power of 10. Everything and anything is on there, from our events to Love Handles to our weekly gathering live streamed on there.
Did you get all that? So yes, we do want to thank you. Over the next 75 minutes or so, there's no right or wrong way to participate. Feel free to bring a snack in, bottle of water. We're just going to sing some songs, have a conversation that we hope you carry with you throughout the week with your friends and family, small groups, things like that. And we just invite you to enjoy with us. With that, if you are a child, which I see some, you can head out. Is there an adult up there? Is Kylie up there?
Yeah, Kylie is right there.
Oh, I didn't see her. Sorry. You can't see. You get blinded. So, yes, go head up with Miss Kiwi. She is ready for you. And we're going to continue with our conversation.
Enjoy, guys.
Thank you.
Good morning, Ford Point. How's everybody doing this morning? Yeah, happy spring forward there. I'm desperately missing that hour of sleep, so later on, do not call me. I'll be taking a nap. Today is definitely calling for a nap, but it's great to be all together with us this morning. Is Dominic here? Where's Dominic at? Dominic, come on up here, buddy. So if you've been with Forward Point for any length of time, a longer time, we had this guy. His name was Dominic, who would kind of come and go through an awesome transformation process through Forward Point and through Miss Michelle. Is Michelle here? Is she here? Yeah, so Michelle was a big part of Dom's story. Being a part of Teen Challenge, you always got to be ready to give a testimony, right? So you ready to give your testimony here on the spot? Tell us about your story, what God's been doing in your life.
God was telling me you were going to do this.
Mm-hmm. You must have been talking to both of us.
I seen it coming. When I first came into this church, it was his name Chris Dilkins was outside. I was walking by, and he's telling me, "Hey, why don't you come on in?" I'm like, "What is this?" He's like, "It's a church." I'm like, "Dude, I'm Satanist, bro." He's like, "Well, we accept everybody." I'm like, "Well, how could you accept a Satanist?" He's like, "We love everybody, so does God." So I say no thanks. I walk by, go buy what I was going to buy, come back on the opposite side of the street. He comes over, grabs me by the arm, pulls me in, tells me just go inside, get a cup of coffee, just sit through one sermon. I'm like, fine, all right. Me being the type of guy that he couldn't make cry. It was the first sermon I ever sat through was them talking about adoption. And God also talked to me through that sermon and asked me, how do you think your parents feel when they adopted you and you put them through all that stuff? So, yeah. I started breaking down crying. Next thing you know, I'm coming up here asking these guys to pray for me. And ever since that day, I was no longer a Satanist. I stopped praying to Satan. But then I got heavy into drugs. Then my brother died. It got worse. Then Victoria, she helped me get put into Teen Challenge because they saw me. I was skin and bones and weighing at 115 pounds. But I didn't know until I actually went into Teen Challenge and weighed myself. But I went through Teen Challenge twice, failed each time. I came back, and I thought that I've actually hit rock bottom before, until it got so bad to the point to where I was ODing multiple times a day. I would OD up to 7 or 8 times in 1 month, just at a rescue mission. That's out there on 122 Dickerson Street. But and I was there for 4 months, and they told me I had big drug addicts sitting there telling me, "Dude, you need some serious help." But by the grace of God, I've never actually OD'd and stayed dead. I've been pronounced dead, but I came to a conclusion one night, on a Thursday night, after somebody selling me weed that was very much laced with fentanyl. Friday morning, I prayed to God, asked him, please take my strength away and fill me with yours, because I can't do this on my own. I'm sick and tired of doing what I want. I can't do this no more. And he did. I came back to church on Sunday. Michelle, she came in telling me that she wasn't going to come to church that morning. Something told her to come. And I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to. But God forced it out of me and said, put me back in Teen Challenge. So when I went back to Teen Challenge, they asked me, so what's different this time? Well, the difference is I'm not here for me, and I'm not here to quit doing drugs. I'm here to quit doing whatever I want, just so the fact that I can actually live for God's will. And just to let you know, this is only my second time giving my testimony, guys. But this is the first and only time that I've actually graduated from Teen Challenge. I've been working at Teen Challenge for a year now as a staff member, and it gets hard. I see myself in all the students all the time. I'm like, dude, you don't know, like, it feels good to try redirecting other students that don't know anything about themselves or where they're actually at in their walk. It feels good to let them know that they're not alone, just as these guys have always done for me. I love my church family. They've been with me for 9 years. And I've always been told, forget your past. I can't do that, because every time I did, I backslid. I would always fall backwards. Always remember where you came from, just so that you could work even harder and move, just to take one step forward. I got a couple of verses that I stand on. One is in Proverbs, the other one is Romans 5, 3 through 5. I don't remember it exactly, because I haven't read it in like a while. But I'll just tell you a scripture that God spoke to me when I was very much wearing clothes and stuff, so it's fashion. It's Matthew 6:28. It's, why worry about the clothes that you wear? Look at the flowers of the field, all the lilies. They'll be here today and gone tomorrow, thrown into the fire. Think of Solomon in all of his splendor, could not even dress as one of these. Yet I tell you, how much more do you think God is going to care for you than the lilies of the field? That's my testimony.
At first, when he started walking forward, I didn't even recognize him. I thought it was a new member of security, or if you're a part of Forward Point, when was it, 7, 8, 9 years ago? Back in that time, or even just living in Eastwood, you would notice the silhouette of a stick kind of just mindlessly walking the streets of Eastwood up and down James Street here. And to see you, Dom, and the way that you've bulked up there, and now you're on staff there at Teen Challenge, and Miss Michelle, wherever you are. Miss Michelle, thank you. Yeah, Miss Michelle wasn't just took them down to Furman Street Teen Challenge. She said, let's get in a car. We're driving out to Rochester, right? The Rochester Teen Challenge. We're going to get you. And she's done multiple trips out there for different people, and to bring Dom different things, and just an awesome sacrifice for a beautiful life change. So we are excited to be a part of that and to see that, and it's a beautiful story. It is a rather momentous occasion here at Forward Point. This last March 1st, just a couple days ago, we hit a major milestone across the street there at Love Handles. For the first time ever, Love Handles was able to pay rent. What? Hey, get out of here. Our back was against the wall. The landlord was getting ready to evict us, and we said we better start scraping for change here at the corner, and we were able to put it together. Early on in the Love Handles history, we were asked this question by one of our overseers, John Elbel. He said, so is Love Handles profitable yet? And, when I first heard that question, you want to speak with some kind of sense of excitement and confidence, and I was, kind of going through my head, thinking, yeah, we're almost there, right? And this is at a point where I was working there, pretty much full time, not getting paid, and nowhere near paying rent. And I was just thinking, we're able to pay the one employee we do have. We're able to pay for the supplies that we get. And I was like, yeah, we're almost profitable. And here we are, 2.5 years later, just now getting to this place where it finally feels like we're making an impact. And I wondered if you wouldn't mind just taking a quick stroll with me down memory lane to kind of relive some of the early days there of Love Handles as we started talking about it here at Forward Point.
And our vision here at Forward Point, for many of you have seen the signs. We have what's called Love Handles, and it used to be a Subway. So you may have seen this right over here, just a block down the road. It used to be a Subway, and now you'll notice that the sign has changed. Go ahead and flip through here. This is our vision for Love Handles. Yeah, give it up for Love Handles, Forward Point. So the focus and the heart behind it. So not only do we have the heart here in the logo, but it's truly the heart of the church. And that all-encompassing story that Stephen shared with us about how the heart of the community, the heart of Eastwood, the heart of Forward Point, and the heart of our Lord. And how can we serve and reach, maybe even that capacity of where we were once touching the two walls in Sacred Melody? How can we be touching the walls of Eastwood collectively? Because God dwelt among us. He lived among us. He lived in the community. And church isn't just something we do on Sundays. It's our opportunity to actually serve the community and have a permanent location. And we happen to sell soft serve ice cream as well. So walk us through the vision, truly, for Love Handles and what we're doing here.
So it's just weird how God brings things around. Almost 6 years ago, getting to meet up with some really cool cats, Jimmy and Chaz Doyle, that again, you know him as your pastor here at the church and how we've done ministry together. When they first called me, there was never discussion of ministry. And that might be a topic for a different day. But the fact that they just came to the area looking to buy a home and found this guy that he knew from childhood that wanted to help them find a home. And even though we didn't talk about church, Palace was just a dream, all these other things were just a thought, we did talk about just, things that we would like to see in our lifetime happen and goals and just a little bit about faith maybe, but not about church at all. And now all we do is talk about church. But in turn, one of the dreams was it'd be so cool one day to have the Palace Theater, to be able to use it or own something like a theater. And the other thing Jimmy's heart was always about, if anyone's watched Adventures in Odyssey, growing up as a kid, you watched Adventures in Odyssey, Mr. Whitaker, and he had this place called Wits End, and it was like an ice cream soda fountain place, hangout for the community, and through it you would learn character skills, you would learn about faith and family. So his vision was always to have something like that. And God just works in the most mysterious ways that this building became available, was going to become something that I did not want it to have it become, and usually I don't even have a chance to purchase something because, one, the cost is out of reach, or two, the fact that it's sold unknowingly, but just through a weird set of circumstances. I'm talking about some bizarre stuff we do not have time for today. The fact that this building we were able to purchase it, and hence Love Handles is going to happen, and we're going to bring Love Handles to our whole community, and hopefully we can redeem that word.
Speaking of building out in the community, for those that we heard about Love Handles, we had Stephen up here last week, and we are currently building out the Love Handles just a block away. For those that have been sewing in with their offerings, we've got an update. We have 2215 towards it so far. We have some other updates that are taking place. For those of you that know about Love Handles, it's our opportunity to be connected throughout the week, and we are building out, you just passed it, exactly. It's right there, it's just a block away. We are building it out, and to answer that question of what is this building, here's what's happening. We're starting to build out new walls, the electrical's going through. We're really starting to culminate that place that'll be our permanent dwelling space throughout. We are still allowing you to be a part of this. We have our donor drive that's taking place, and right now we are close to $10,000. We just got the new machines in, so those just came in, and we had our first customer. We've got little Litley there. So Litley was our first customer. We are still in the donor drive right now, and we are doing a match for 2-for-1 match. So every dollar that you give, we have an angel investor that's matching that. We here as a church are building Love Handles. With your prayers, with your offerings, it's just a block away right over here. We've got a lot happening there. We have a couple different footage there. We're building out physically another dwelling place for the Lord to dwell in our community. So we have construction going through. It's really starting to take shape. If you were here last week, you saw we had our machines and our first customer already. And we'd love to have you be a part of that.
And speaking of food, we're going to continue with Love Handles. Love Handles is in process. You saw pictures recently of the wall going up for the machines. We're going to be working on the floors and the counters. Lights just came in this week, so it is definitely coming on along over there. And if you are giving toward that, we want to thank you for your giving. And we are having a wonderful match giving where every dollar that you give is being matched by $2 by another giver. So the more you give, the quicker we can get this project done and moving and open so that our Love Handles can grow. So we have just so much wonderful things going on.
Photos of how Love Handles is coming along. It is going to be astounding, amazing. This is going to be different, guys. What we're doing here is not the norm. So I just want to begin build this expectation of God is at work. He's doing a great thing on loving our community. So we want you to be there. We want you to take part. Love Handles here. Oh my goodness, is anyone ready for Love Handles? Amazing stuff going on here. I know it looks scary, guys. You're like, okay, and when do you plan to open? In 2025? No, it might look really rough on different photos and images, but Love Handles is coming along. Plumbing is being done. It is work. It's massive, but this thing is going to open very soon. Hopefully, we'll have an announcement of the actual date, but it's happening. You guys have been amazing, generous. We are basically just about at the halfway point of people's giving on the 2-for-1 match. We encourage people, if you want to give, what do we have here? It says over $34,000. You can give a hand for yourselves. Thank you so much for just responding to what God is telling you. Who really wants to get a glimpse of what Love Handles looks like? I mean, we talk about it up here every single week, and you're like, what is that place? We've heard so many things about it. Today is your chance. If you have not stepped foot in it, it is very close to being done. And it is a way that you can see different things of what the church does. I mean, again, we do have some fun up here. I crack some jokes, but there is a bunch of people that do amazing things every single week, and they volunteer their time. This is a chance where you say, I want to get more involved. I want to see what happens there. Come down right after church, right, Jimmy? Right after church, we're going down there. Food, just come for the food, all right? Just have a good time with everyone down there. But it is going to be down there. You can see the progress. We hope to open very, very soon on that. Last week, we had a potluck there where we just joined in, got to show off the place, got to just share about the ministry and all the different things that go on in church here, how you can get involved, how you can plug in. Absolutely amazing times. Love Handle, we have raised now, I think, over $38,000, and you should give yourselves a hand for being used by God in that area. Look at this, guys. Come on. Tiles going up. Look at this. Amazing tile. Look at this. This is not normal. Lights are going in that. We're training our team right now. This is where we start them right here. Let's look at some more photos. We got some more photos on here. Oh, look at that. Receipt paper even. Here, we're not going to be eating that. There we go. Yeah. Tile is up, guys. It is absolutely amazing. We are down to the wire. We are down to the final licenses we're getting for the state. All right. We love serving our community. We love serving Jesus. But there's no serving like soft serve froyo. Come on, everyone. We're going to give you guys a little update on what happened. I know we've been talking about this for weeks, months. It seems like years, Jimmy. And yet, this week, Thursday evening, was, and I think in the end, I'm like, wow, there's hundreds of people here, and they all say they go to this church. I think they're just sneaking in. It's like you won the lotto, and all of a sudden you have all these family members. Amazing. No, but everyone got to on Thursday night that came by, had an amazing time with Love Handles kicking off. Then the last couple nights, again, just this soft serve opening, and it's been absolutely awesome to see. I drove by yesterday, I see someone playing guitar outside. People are loving it. I heard there was Google reviews already. People are loving Love Handles because, again, it's the people inside it, it's the product, and we know why we're doing it, to serve our community. So absolutely amazing. You've been giving toward it. Find ways to volunteer, find ways to take part in it, stop in and have some amazing froyo. So again, thank you so much for Love Handles. It's only going to get bigger and better as the weeks and months go on. You ever shared Love Handles, even the name, with someone to be like, what is that? You hear an assortment, but I'll tell you, we are all about community. We are all about giving love back to our community. So Love Handles, just over a week ago, served its first soft serve ice cream, and it's been continuing on. I'm hearing amazing stories. I know on social media people are talking about it. You know what? The thing about it is it's not just an amazing product, and again, people say how amazing this soft serve ice cream is, but it's the fact that the people inside it, I keep hearing over and over how much they're caring, loving. It's what a great place. It's just going to be a wonderful community.
Here at Love Handles, we'll satisfy any sweet tooth with our delicious froyo and endless toppings. But we're more than just your local dessert spot. We're a place for community. A place to hold your next event. A place to smile. And a place to have fun. So come in and grab a cup. Fill it with one of our many delicious flavors and choose all the toppings you want. With every cup of froyo sold, 8% will be donated to a local charity of your choice. Because at Love Handles, we serve more than just froyo. We serve the city.
Hey, give it up for Love Handles. Give it up for yourselves. Ford Point, what a beautiful story to be a part of. It was 3 years almost to the day. Last month, 3 years ago, is when we first made the announcement about Love Handles to you and invited you to join us in this process, and it would go on for months, as you see throughout the different clips there from week to week, finally opening in July of that year. And it's been an awesome story. You know, when we talk about, as we're going to be entering into the season talking about miracles, it's amazing to look back and see all the things that took place that just were what we would call a miracle, right? You know, things that happened, and the things that were provided, the things that were given to us through relationships and through random networking to be able to launch this with a shoestring budget and be able to see what it is got to come today. And it really boils down to this idea, Ford Point, that we're going to be talking about over the next series of weeks when it comes to miracles, and it's about our involvement. It's that there's a participation aspect of miracles that we can either just spectate or participate in. Because when it comes to miracles, what are you going to do for me is usually the question that we ask, versus maybe changing our thinking to what can I do for you? And this is in relationship to God. Most of the time, when it comes to our prayers, when it comes to things that are going on in our life, when it comes to the things that we need, it's usually some kind of going to God and saying, God, what are you going to do for me? There's this prognosis, there's this relationship, there's this financial discrepancy, right? There's these things that I need, and I need you to do something for me. And for the most part, that is how we view our miracle working God, is that we expect him for it to be a bona fide miracle, for him to kind of come in and, you know, wave his magic wand, and magically what we want happens. It's a very spectator kind of sport. Versus what we want to do is begin to change our thinking. And the reality is that miracles are very much a participatory sport. It's where we get to the place where we're asking God, what can I do for you? How can I get involved? What is it, as I look around, where's the need that I can fill? For Miss Michelle, right? She saw a young man who needed to get out to Rochester for what looked like just another failure of his third attempt at Teen Challenge, but then turned into this beautiful miracle that you all just saw here on the stage in front of you. Right? And it's this transformation of our thinking where we're just not coming to God saying, God, what can you do for me in this situation? I need you to blow it up for me and make it the way that I want to. And it's interesting in our culture, the word miracle is not even something that's regulated just to places of faith, right? Church or different things like that. It's a very common thing that we use to describe things that we don't understand that happen. It's very normal for you to hear words like this in like hospitals or different places where the doctor sees some kind of person who should be dead or should have gone a certain way and it doesn't. No rhyme or reason, no maybe medical understanding as far as we know in our knowledge from 2025. So we just kind of stamp it as a miracle and allow that to be an opportunity where God came in and we just were a spectator to that. But the process of seeing heaven come down to earth is a miracle. And the process of that happening is where we change and reorient our mindset to say, God, what is it that I can do for you? How can you use me? You look throughout history and you have saints. And part of becoming a saint is that you had to be able to perform a miracle. But here's the funny part of it. It wasn't even like while you were alive, you performed a miracle. The process of sainthood was something that didn't even start until years after you had died. And in order to qualify for being a saint, you had to do a life of good and live for other people. But after you died, people had to pray in your name, and then whatever you prayed for had to happen. And it had to be a verifiable miracle. And we have all these saints because somebody thought that praying to these people would somehow enhance their chances of success to get what they want. And this idea of God, what are you going to do for me, is kind of ingrained in our religion. It's kind of ingrained in our faith walk, is that this is how we treat God. As some kind of cosmic vending machine in the sky that if I put in the right numbers of the right money, that I hit the right buttons, and I'm going to get out of the vending machine what it is that I want. But it's interesting when you look at the scriptures and even Jesus' life, and Jesus said, if you just have faith like a mustard seed, what? Then you'll be able to move mountains, right? He didn't say, if you have faith like a mustard seed, then I'm going to move the mountain. He challenged and said, if you have faith like a mustard seed, then you will be able to move mountains. But you won't be able to do anything forward point if you're asking the question, God, what are you going to do for me? That question leads to couch potatoes. That question leads to people just kind of sitting on their hands, sitting on their feet, and not getting into the action. Versus, he says, you'll move the mountain. He says, you live with this mindset of, what can I do for you, God? What's going on in the world around me? Where maybe you've equipped me, maybe you have made me in a certain way, maybe I haven't even experienced it yet or understand it fully yet, but where is the need around me that I can step into? What can I do for you, God? So this morning what we want to do is start off our conversation looking at this famous passage from Jesus, and Jesus is doing what he does best and kind of causing some trouble, stirring up some of the religious leaders by healing on the Sabbath, and they do not like what he's doing, so they begin to develop this plan that we want to not just kind of out him as a false prophet, but now we want to kill him because he claims to be in relationship with God, the very Son of God. And as Jesus begins to see their attitudes change, he begins to go into the hillside. And as a result of everything that he's done, he develops a large crowd, and a large crowd begins to follow him. In fact, John describes it this way. He says, a huge crowd followed him, attracted by the miracles that they had seen him do among the sick. Now, here's a reality that we can't get around, is that miracles are attractional. There's nothing quite as attractional as being able to hear about somebody who, maybe lost a leg and, the leg grew back, right? You hear that story and you'd be like, man, I got to see that. Jesus has this heart of attraction. He understands that as he's healing people, that is going to begin to draw a crowd. But he also has this other kind of tension that he lives with. When he heals people, more often than not, he tells them, you know what, don't tell anybody. Because while miracles are attractional, he doesn't want them to become a spectacle. Because there's a lot of people who will go after things just for the spectacle. I've been in this very room where there was an event and there was some lady who was brought in who was supposed to, be whatever her title was. I don't know if it was prophet or whatever. And she had this reputation for being able to do deliverance and healing. And the theater was packed. Man, I can't pack it out on a Sunday morning, but it can get packed if we put someone on the stage who claims to be able to heal people. Because there's something about humans that crave spectacles, right? We want to be awed and oohed by what we see. And then if we see it, if we see the amazing, if we see the spectacular, then that may be enough to bring us over the line of faith. But the problem with that, forward point, is that if it's some kind of event, some kind of spectacle that brings you into faith, then it can be a lack of a spectacle that causes you to step out of faith. Because inevitably, death has a 99.9% success rate. Right? Granted, there's some people in the Old Testament who got to just go and be with God and they never experienced death. But outside of them, death is going to win every single time. And I have yet to find someone with so much faith and so much right prayers and wording that has been able to pray themselves to living eternally. Right? We are considered amazing if we can make it past 100 years old. But somehow we live in this mindset that, man, we just want God to show up in these spectacular ways. And if he only showed up in these spectacular ways, then people would come. And then we would believe. But Jesus was very intentional. He said, I don't want this to become a spectacle. In fact, as he was dealing with these people later on at the end of the story, they said, why don't you give us a clue about who you are? Just a hint of what's going on. When we see what's up, then we'll commit ourselves. So show us what you can do. Right? In your translation, it might say something more along the lines of, give us a miracle. Just perform some kind of spectacle. And once we see the spectacle, once we know that you got the goods, then we will follow. Then we will believe. And I have to say, it doesn't sound too much different than our culture today in the way that we live. And Jesus, in fact, out of this, he rebukes them. He says, people are always going to crave a sign. There's always going to be people who just are looking for the spectacular. But I'm not looking for people who just dwell in the spectacular. I'm looking for people who are going to be participants. I'm looking for people who are going to stop asking, God, what can you do for me? But are going to start asking, God, what can I do for you? In this time and place that you have placed me, what is it that I can do for you? And in that, when just humble, non-assuming people decide to kind of step out of their comfort zone to help another person, we begin to see miracles. We begin to see things happen. And in the story in John, as the story goes on, the people are there and it's getting around lunchtime. And as happens, people are starting to get hangry because they're hungry and they're not close to any kind of McDonald's. So as the disciples begin to look and they begin to see, look at all these people, they're hungry. Jesus, based on Matthew's account, he says this. He says, there's no need to dismiss them. You give them supper. The disciples wanted to say, let's send them away. Because things are getting a little hot around the collar around here with everyone getting hangry. So let's send them away so they can get food. And Jesus flips it and he says, you feed them. You do something about it. There's a need right around you. And we're going to kind of establish the precedent that when there's a need, you fill it. Right? That begins to till the soil of the miraculous. That begins to open up the story to some amazing things happening. It may not have been the story that you would have written or that you were looking for, but when you start asking the question, what can I do in this situation, God? What can I do, Jesus, in the midst of all these hungry people? Miraculous things begin to happen. So much so that there's an unnamed boy who got to be part of the story, right? In verse 8, there's a little boy here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 fish, but that's a drop in the bucket for a crowd like this, the disciples say. Right? You see, Jesus wasn't looking to go viral in this situation. He was looking to build a team. He was looking to form some people to begin to walk out and live this way, where it's not about putting on a show and being spectacular, but it's about just asking the question, God, what can we do for you? Now, the disciples, they were asking the right question. They just were asking it with the wrong heart, right? Philip, he answered this. He said, 200 silver pieces wouldn't be enough to buy bread for each person to get a piece, right? What can we do? But they're asking it with a very different heart. They're asking it with a heart of exasperation, right? They're asking almost as an excuse to not have to participate. What is it that we can do in this situation, really, God? They weren't going through their heads and kind of problem solving and just thinking of the very bare minimum what they had to offer. No, they just gave up and was like, what is it that we can do? We have no resources to be able to meet this need. We're on a budget here, Jesus. And this is not part of it. But this little boy, he wanted to participate. He didn't know how. It didn't make sense to him. All he knew is this is what he had, this little sack lunch. And I'm more than happy to be. God, what can you do with this? And we all know the story, if you grew up in Sunday school, how God used this little sack lunch to feed thousands of people. And I began to think, as reading through the story, I'm kind of surprised by the disciples, right? It kind of takes me all the things that they have walked through with Jesus up to this point. He's healing people, and they have no imagination that Jesus could do something in this situation. Right? John tells us it was the miracles that were drawing the people to Jesus in the first place. Like, why couldn't they have some kind of imagination that God could do, that Jesus would do something in this story? But here it is with the disciples. They had not seen anything like this up to this point. Right? There was no miracle of Jesus taking food and multiplying. They didn't know what they didn't know. They had no imagination. All they knew was what they had seen up to this point and what they could imagine in their mind. And they had no imagination for it because they're used to just asking the question, God, what can you do for me? Based on what I need, based on the situation that I'm in, what can you do for me? Versus just, God, here is what I have to offer. I want to be part of the story. What can I do for you in the midst of this? And they had no imagination for that. Their heart, their mind was nowhere near that. There's actually a bunch of different ways that Jesus could have met the need, right? Jesus could have been like Alakazam and look in your pockets, and their pockets could have been filled with silver coins, right? Go buy food for everybody now, right? That's one way Jesus could have met this need. Jesus could have been like abracadabra and waved his fingers, and everybody could have just been magically no longer hungry, right? He could have just put some food into people's stomachs and bam, let's continue on with the lesson. There's lots of ways when you think about it that if you use your imagination that Jesus could have met the need of all these hangry people. But they didn't even tiptoe into imagining what God could do with what they had. They just, what is it that we could do, Jesus? We got nothing. And you begin to see the difference between this frustration, the disciples very frustrated, versus this little boy who had great expectation, right? Believing that Jesus could do something with this little meal, that he had no imagination of ever having seen it before, but just believing that with the right mindset, with the right question, just what I have to offer given to Jesus, that Jesus can make up the difference. Because forward point, what are you going to do for me misses out on the creativity that what can I do for you invites. Right? When you begin to adjust your thinking and begin to change the question that you're asking, you're going to begin to see all sorts of opportunities for creativity to pop up for you to meet the needs of the world around you that God's placed you in. And I love the way this story kind of wraps up, because Jesus, I think, in kind of a, I don't know if it's a little ha-ha kind of way, but in verse 12, he says, when the people had eaten their fill, he said to his disciples, gather the leftovers so nothing is wasted, right? That makes sense. We don't want to waste anything. And wouldn't you know, they went to work and filled how many? 12 large baskets with leftovers from the 5 barley loaves. Right? You just imagine at the end of the story, they're all gathering up the leftovers, and 12 disciples, 12 guys who had no imagination, 12 guys who just constantly living in the state of, God, what can you do for me? Are just left standing there, each one holding their own basket full of leftovers. And it's almost like in that moment, nothing has to be said because the props say it all. Here they were worrying about, man, it'd take 200, not even 200 pieces of silver to fill all these people. Man, the nearest town is so far away. Man, God, what is it? What can we do about this? And he takes this little boy's heart to just be a participant who just says, how can I be involved? How can I help? And he turns into this hero, as now each one of them have way more bread than they could ever possibly handle for themselves individually. Because fourth point, you see, it's not about your ability. It's not even about your feasibility, right? I don't have enough money, or I didn't go to school, right? It's not about either of those things, but it's about simply your availability. To just say, God, here I am. What can I do for you? And when you begin to ask that question, you put yourself in a creative mindset to see heaven come to earth and to see the miraculous happen. And I'm not talking about it goes way beyond like a 9-to-5 availability. Like where we're used to 9-to-5 jobs where we clock in and clock out, and God, not while I'm clocked out, God. Right? If you just think that God's going to show up on your timetable and when it's nice and pretty and the bow tied for you, then you're going to miss out. Because you're drifting back into, God, what can you do for me on my timetable? When I'm clocked in, when I'm there on Sunday mornings, God, when I'm there on Sunday mornings, feel free. Do whatever you want, stretch me, pull me, whatever it takes. But once I walk out those doors, it's back on my time. God, what can you do for me? How are you going to meet my needs? How are you going to take care of the things that I'm going through? When I think about the arc of my life, forward point, when I said, I want to be in vocational ministry and be a pastor, I had no intention, no desire, no imagination for starting and running a frozen yogurt shop. That was not on my bucket lists. It was not something that I thought about. This is what it looks like to attain the peak of success in this vocation. Right? I wanted to get into it because I wanted to grow a church or be a part of a big church. I wanted to have a paid staff. I wanted to have a nice corner office. I want to be able to be sent on sabbaticals where, right, they just send you away for 3 or 6 months paid because they think you've worked really hard. Right? That's what you want to... That's what you want to do if you're going into ministry. Those are the highlights, the things that you attain. It wasn't a frozen yogurt shop. But if my mindset hadn't adjusted over the years, if the question I started asking hadn't adjusted over the years, then I guarantee you the Doyle family would have been gone a long time ago. Right? Because when the going got tough, when the finances ran up, when it required me to be there more than I was at home and more than even I was doing things for Forward Point, I've been like, God, this isn't working for me. This is not cutting it. This is not what I signed up for. You're not doing it for me. But gradually through years of just God kind of stirring up inside of me, my view and perspective and the question started to change about, God, here's today, just another day. What can I do for you? Okay, I got to go and clean machines for half the day and then work there the rest of the day after that. Okay, I know how to do it, so I'm willing to do that. What can I do for you, God? My question began to change. So here we are, Forward Point, starting and staring at what seems like another new beginning for the Forward Point story. And I think about, over the past few weeks, we've been talking about the opportunity that we have to begin to move into this new space. And when you think about just the miracle of even the location, right? If you had talked to us 4 years ago, 5 years ago, about looking for a place to be able to move and have our own permanent space, man, we would have been hard-pressed to even find a place in Eastwood, much less across the street. I can walk out the door of Love Handles, throw a rock, and hit the new space that is going to be Forward Point, right across the street. Like, man, you cannot be set up any better than that. And you have to think, I wonder if God's up to something here. I wonder if he's doing something. Right? What a miracle. Because we simply said, God, what is it that we can do for you? Right? That question is the mindset that begins to turn a space that looks like this into a space this last Wednesday. Last Wednesday at 9:30 at night. Okay, Forward Point, this is Wednesday, 9:30 at night. Look at this. Oh, look, people coming in the door. But wait, there's more. People coming in the door. And I can't even tell you, this is like a one-off thing. This is becoming the regular there at Love Handles. This is at the same exact time. There's people in the back, 9:30, Wednesday night. Just filled, overflowing with young college people. And I'm like, God, we don't have a young adult pastor. We don't even have a youth pastor. All we got is me. All we got is Sonia. But the question isn't, God, what is it that you are going to do for us? The question is just over and over going to be, and what is it that we can do for you? And we're going to do it. We're going to step into it. And as a result, Forward Point, I don't know if you know the numbers. If you haven't been there recently, you may not. But over to date, Forward Point, through Love Handles, has given away $42,000 to local charities here in Syracuse. Right? The first year was $10,000. By year 2, our goal was, man, we just want to double that. We want to be able to have given away $20,000 in a year, and we were able to do that. At our second year anniversary, we had reached the over $30,000 mark. So here we are sitting at $42,000 with 5 months to go to get to 60, because we want to do it again. We want to double what we gave last year. We want to be able to give away in this year $40,000. And we think we can do it in the 5 months that we have left, because Love Handles is busier than it ever has. And you think about, man, what a miracle to have taken that subway space and to turn it into this beacon in the community. Because this is what happened. We just heard in the community there was this desire for some kind of rec center, some kind of place where kids could be able to go and to have a place to hang out, a community center. We didn't know the first thing about opening a community center. We didn't even know the first thing about opening a frozen yogurt shop. But what we did is we had a relationship with some people who owned a frozen yogurt shop. It was a relationship that I had built over years working at the mall, at the Apple store. On my breaks and on my lunch, I would just go for a walk, and I started a relationship with this guy. His name was Jimmy. And he was working at the frozen yogurt shop, and we just would talk as I walked by, and he would tell me about his life. And then one time while I was there, his parents were there, and he introduced me to his parents. So now every time I walked by their shop, I knew them. I would bring my family, and they would always give us a discount for the family for being there. And then just randomly, one day they started talking about how they wanted to retire and move out west. And this was at the same time where we started to say, God, how can we answer this need that is being asked for in the community? How can we be part of the story? How can we meet this? And they offered to train us. They offered to sell us the equipment. And as a result, God set us up. Just because we changed our perspective, we stopped saying, God, would you just give us a really big building where we can have lots and lots of people and a paid staff, a paid professional to go after the young people, a paid professional to go after the college people. No, we said, God, what can you do with these things that we have? And through a lot of sacrifice, through a lot of work, we are riding a wave of some amazing miracles. And now as we just begin to turn a corner of Love Handles feeling like it's sustainable and profitable and not a liability, God's like, okay, let's move you into a new building. And let's begin a new campaign, a new chapter, a new story where we're going to begin to invite you into being part of this next miracle story. Now, I would love to wow you with some kind of spectacular smoke and mirrors and be like, all sorts of warm and fuzzies, but that's not the invitation. The invitation is for you to begin to look at your time, look at your resources, and begin to say, God, how can you use what I have? God, how can you set me up? What in my life maybe do I need to change, or do I need to adjust so I can be part of the story, so I can be part of the miracle? God, how do you help me to change my thinking from God? What can you do for me to God? What can you do with what I have? And maybe for some of us this morning, the first part of that is just to begin to take inventory. What is it that I have? How do I spend my time? Maybe I waste a lot of time and I could be volunteering. Maybe you waste a lot of money. Maybe your favorite pastime is scrolling and shopping on your Amazon app on your phone. And you know the UPS driver by first name. Right? And now there's going to begin to be a stirring that you can continue to go after what makes you feel good, what kind of numbs you to the world, or you can begin to step into the story and say, I'm going to begin to put aside the things that I want, the things that make me feel good, to be part of this much bigger story. And you just look around to this amazing group, but it's a small group, right? And somehow you people launched a frozen yogurt shop that has a 4.9 star rating review on Google and serves amazing froyo and builds amazing relationships and bridges to our community. For some of you, all you did is just give money, and we're grateful for that, but you know what? God's calling you to get involved in the story even more. For some of you, maybe you've never given at all, and for you, that's part of the story that God is trying to bring you into, is to look at your resources, your finances, and say, what is it that I'm just cavalier about, but God's asking me to say, how can I use this for you? And we're going to begin to invite you, because we believe, as awesome and viral as it would be to call people forward and pray and begin to heal people miraculously, sometimes he does that and sometimes he doesn't. But what he does time after time is take people's 5 loaves and fishes and use them to feed people. He takes people's offerings, as people's, God, here's what I have, how can you use it? And he turns them into miracles. So what is it that you have this morning? I've been part of amazing mass movements where people were rallied together to pray over and try to heal somebody from some kind of disease, and God chose to take them home. I've also been in my living room with a small group of teenage students where we prayed over one of the dads, and he'll to this day tell you that he was healed that evening. We didn't say anything special. It was nothing, smoke and mirrors and none of that stuff. Why does God choose to do it in one situation and not the other? I don't know. It's above my pay grade. But we ask that question when we just are focused on the spectacular. When we're focused on the God, what can you do for me? And then this morning, we want to be available whenever somebody needs prayer. We're going to pray for healing. But we're also going to pray for the strength and the peace to walk through a storm that at some point, if not now, down the road, is going to end in death. So that's what we want to be a part of, and what we're going to begin to invite you to be a part of. And we want to thank you for everything that you've done up to this point. God, we're so grateful that you can use this rickety old building on the corner of James Street and Forest Hill. It's a building where when it's super cold, the subway sign comes up beneath the fog like some kind of horror movie. We just can't seem to get rid of it because you refuse to let us forget where we come from and what you have done, because a bunch of people said, God, what can you do with what I have? Here it is. They didn't say, God, it would take this to make that happen. It would take this. What is it? We could possibly never make an impact. We're not funded. We don't have the ability. God, would you help us to just become unhinged in our confidence that we don't know how, but we're not going to let our lack of seeing it limit our imagination for what you can do with what we have to offer. So would you this morning just set us, don't give us the answer, don't give us the end picture, because that would probably be scary. And we would not be able to make heads or tails out of how we're going to get there. But God, we're just praying this morning for a new freedom, a new confidence in what you can do with our little lunch pail meal, with our little Happy Meal, with our little value meal. And we're asking as you begin to give us a new imagination that would just fill us with an expectation, a reorientation of our question that we ask. Not what you can do for us, but God, what is it that we can do for you in this next season of Forward Point? We love you. Continue to work in our hearts this morning as we respond to you.
Replace the across the skies. These hallelujahs be multiplied. These hallelujahs be multiplied.
Your love.
Your love is like radiant diamonds bursting inside us. We cannot contain. Your love will surely come find us like blazing wildfires, singing your name.
God of mercy, sing with us.
God of mercy, sweet love of mine, I have surrendered to your design. May this offering stretch across the skies. These hallelujahs be multiplied.
Your love.
Your love is like radiant diamonds bursting inside us. We cannot contain. Your love will surely come find us like blazing wildfires, singing your name.
God of mercy.
God of mercy, sweet love of mine, I have surrendered to your design. May this offering stretch across the sky. These hallelujahs be multiplied.
God of mercy.
Oh, God of mercy, sweet love of mine, I have surrendered to your design. May this offering stretch across the sky. These hallelujahs be multiplied. These hallelujahs be multiplied.
I'm gonna sing a song that we sang last week. Same God. And all right, where is he? Michelle, where's Dom? Where is he? Where's your hand, Dom? Are you around here? Come on, you're all big and bulky. Is he out in the lobby there hanging out? All right. Nothing like getting a text from, oh, no, that's not Dom, but he's somewhere. Nothing like getting a text from Michelle this morning saying, hey, Dom's in the area and I want to bring him to church. Or he wants to, or actually I think he said he wants to go to church. And nothing like hearing about miracles and then seeing Dom up here talk. And again, church has gone through different phases, new faces, old faces, but for anyone who knew that guy from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago. There's people in this church that took him into their home, tried everything. And it just goes to show that God is a miracle working God. But I also believe that Dom's heart changed from, God, what can you do for me? To all of a sudden, I want to give my life for you. It's the same God that parted the water, same God who went before the people of Israel. It's the same God that sent his only son to die for us. I don't believe he has changed, but sometimes our heart toward him needs to change. So we're going to sing today about the same God. I'm calling on the God of Jacob, whose love endures through generations. I know that you will keep your covenant. I'm calling on the God of Moses, the one who opened the ocean. I need you now to do the same thing for me. Oh God. Oh God, my God, I need you. Oh God, my God, I need you now. How I need you now. Oh rock of ages, I'm standing on your faithfulness, on your faithfulness. I'm calling on the God of Mary, whose favor rests upon the lowly. I know with you all things are possible. Yes, I'm calling on the God of David, who made a shepherd, a boy courageous. I may not face Goliath, but I've got my own giants. Oh God, my God, I need you. Oh God, my God, I need you now. How I need you now. Oh rock of ages, I'm standing on your faithfulness, on your faithfulness. Sing it again. Oh God, my God, I need you. Oh God, my God, I need you now. How I need you now. Oh rock of ages, I'm standing on your faithfulness, on your faithfulness. You heard your children then, you hear your children now. You are the same God, you are the same God. You answered prayers back then, and you will answer now. You are the same God, you are the same God. You were providing then, you are providing now. You are the same God, you are the same God. You moved in power then, God move in power now. You are the same God, you are a healer. You are a healer then, you are a healer now. You are the
same God. You are the same God. You are a Savior then. You are a Savior now. You are the same God. You are the same God. You freed the captives then. You're freeing hearts right now. You are the same God. You are the same God. You touch the lepers then. I feel your touch right now. You are the same God. You are the same God. Oh God, my God, I need you. Oh God, my God, I need you now. How I need you now. Oh rock of ages, I'm standing on your faithfulness. Oh, your faithfulness. Oh God, my God, I need you. Oh God, my God, I need you now. How I need you now. Oh rock of ages, I'm standing on your faithfulness. On your faithfulness. I'm calling on Holy Spirit. Almighty river, come and fill me again. Let this be our prayer, church. Come and fill me again. One more time. Come and fill me valley.
I'll praise in the valley, praise on the mountain. I'll praise when I'm sure, praise when I'm doubting.
I'll praise
when outnumbered, praise when surrounded. 'Cause praise is the water my enemies drowning. As long as I'm breathing, I've got a reason to praise the Lord, oh my soul. Praise the Lord, oh my soul. I'll praise when I feel it, and I'll praise when I don't. I'll praise 'cause I know you're still in control. My praise is a weapon, it's more than a sound. My praise is the shout that brings Jericho down. As long as I'm breathing, I've got a reason to praise the Lord, oh my soul. Praise the Lord, oh my soul. I won't be quiet. My God is alive. How could I keep it inside? Praise the Lord, oh my soul. I'll praise 'cause you're sovereign. Praise 'cause you reign. Praise 'cause you rose and defeated the grave. I'll praise 'cause you're faithful. Praise 'cause you're true. Praise 'cause there's nobody greater than you. Praise the Lord, oh my soul.
be quiet, my God is alive. How could I keep it inside? Praise the Lord, oh my soul.
Woo! That was great. Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. Thank you again for joining us this morning. If you would have asked me 3 years ago when we started hearing about Love Handles, do you ever see yourself working there someday? I would have said maybe. That would be a great idea someday. But here we are almost 2 years later, and Jimmy has gifted me the ability to see out his dream and to have Love Handles be Wits End, right? I love to share that story with people who will understand it. But I invite you to join me at Love Handles. If you haven't been to one of our events, if you haven't been there to see the nitty-gritty, I want help. I need help. Cleaning, being at events. We have an event tomorrow, Mario, at 5:30. Bring your friends. See what we do there. If you haven't been there in a while, there's new updates. There's always new stuff happening. Please join us there. Have a conversation. Let's see how we can use your talents.
Yes. And then if this is where you decide you want to give, we have a couple ways you can do that. There's the joy box in the back because giving is a joy. There's online at forwardpoint.org. There you can text any amount to the number 84321. And then there's the Church Center app. Guys, the Church Center app is a great way to get connected and to stay connected.
We want to encourage you to get prayer today if you need it. We know that prayer works. I can't tell you the number of times my mom has been in a hospital on the other end of the phone asking for prayer, and miracles just happen. It does happen. It is real. We have a designated prayer corner in the back. They will pray with you about anything and everything. You can also, if you need a prayer request, submit it on the Church Center app. You can submit it on our beautiful website as well. So please utilize that team. They are here and they want to help.
And then the Palace Theater is so generous. Let's come here on a Sunday morning. Soon we won't have to do it anymore, but we still have to clean up afterwards. Many hands make a light work. Yeah. The more people that can help, the quicker we can get out. There's brooms in the closet over there and other stuff if you have any time afterwards.
And we like to socialize after service, but make sure that you are picking up your kids. Don't leave them up there with our wonderful Kid Mid team. And we just want to thank you for joining us this week. We'll see you soon.
Have a great one.